All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us on tonight's team call. It's the last 2 days of March. So get out there, follow other people, get excited. We have so much new awesome things that are coming up. So let people know, like, hey, this is the chance, this is the time for you to hop on in. For people, remember the My BFF code is good up until April 31st, but it's only 2 more days for when people can sign up as a coach to actually get those codes. So get people signed up, right? Have them sign up with their BFF, and then everyone's happy, everyone's doing it together. It's so much more fun. So use that to your advantage. I can't say that enough. And if you need help getting your codes, if one of your coaches lost it, can't find it, yada, yada, send me their email address and I'll get it over to VIP. They've been really good with just resending out those My BFF codes if your people can't find it. So make sure you're following up with those people too and saying, hey, did you get that email? You can use it. Or if you don't have a BFF that wants to join you, you can, do you mind sending me that code so I can help benefit somebody else? Our Summit House, there's only 3 spots left, I believe, as of tonight. So the cutoff date to get those 3 spots is going to be this Monday. So April 5th. I'm cutting it off. So if you're coming, you know you're coming. If not, we'll miss you. But we'll be there. You'll be there with us in spirit, and we'll all watch the summit trainings in a Zoom somehow together anyway. So our coach sneak peek is going to be this Thursday. I'm going to do it every other Thursday. So just kind of like have that on the top of your mind. I just created the event and I'll post it in the team page after the call tonight. So this Thursday, 8 p.m., coach sneak peek that you can invite people to. We're still doing the Zoom workouts in the morning. Where is everybody? Like, I know you're all working out, but when? I know Jenna's at like 4 a.m. So she's crushing us all. But hop on. Like, we have people on, from probably 5:30 to 8. I was on at 8, I think. Adriana, I was doing abs with Parker. That's my 10-minute ab time. Hop on. And I'm always on at night from like 8 o'clock on doing my work, right? So hop on with me. Might as well it's so much fun when you can just do your work with somebody, right? So don't feel like you're doing this alone. Hop on. And I still build this during the nighttime, and I have for the past 8 years. So if you're like, I want to build a business and you're not showing up, then that's on you, right? But we're giving you the opportunity, the time to do this along with us. So don't waste that, right? Like, I know it's hard at night with kids and everything else going on, but that's if that's the only time you have, you have to just be laser focused, and hop on with us. April 19th, Shanti's new program. That's the coach launch. Focus on the coach launch. Customer launch, I don't know, sometime in May. We're not focused on that right now. Right now, we're focused on the coach launch, April 19th. We'll have a team call about that, but make sure that's your moment to get your previous coaches on board, get everybody else on board that you're working with, so they know, like, hey, if they want to get VIP early access, April 19th is the day. And as much as I don't like dance, you guys know I'm just the best dancer out there. I've been hearing so much great, like, everyone's loving it. They're saying how much fun it is. And I'm like, ugh, as much as I hate dance, I love Shanti, and I think I'm probably going to do it. So, of course, I'm going to do it. April 19th, get on board. So, have a plan of how you're going to get this into action. We'll have another team call on that. Anyway, so jump on in to what we're going to talk about tonight. And we've been talking a lot about creating our vision, and that being a continual vision, right? Like, my vision, my first year is completely different than my vision now. So we have a special guest speaker, Natalie Bailey, hopping on board with us tonight. Thank you so much. She has been a coach for 7 years. She is a full-time coach, 7-star, 4-time elite. She's a military wife and mama to MJ, who's 4.5. So she knows that because you built this when you were probably married but no kid, and you're like, it was so easy back then, but now it's totally different, but you're still obviously crushing it. So, Natalie, thanks so much for joining us. You take it away.
Hi guys. It's so good to see all of you. I don't think I know anybody on this call. So hello.
Who's your upline? Are you in like Keith Callahan's?
Yep.
Yeah.
So my direct upline, her name is Rachel Khalil. She's not very active in the business, but her upline is Elizabeth Hartke.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know Liz.
Yep.
But Liz and I are just one of my best friends. She's just been an awesome person to lean on these last 7 years. And then obviously her upline is Keith. So most things that I've learned have been, are you guys in Keith's downline?
Yeah, we're Lisa Hanson
I don't know
and then
her.
me.
Okay.
So Bob Lucido.
Okay. Yep.
So Keith's on Bob's one leg, and then
Yep.
we're on Bob's other leg.
Awesome. Cool. So we're all family. Look at us.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I am really excited, honored to be here. Thank you for asking me to speak. I'm a little bit nervous. It's been a long time since I've said yes to speaking engagements. I haven't done them in a couple years. Just life's been kind of crazy. So actually this tonight is like my first challenge to myself again to like get back out there and hopefully provide some value. And you guys have some great takeaways tonight. But I was talking to your coach about what I should name this call or, how I could present it or what it is. And, I'm going to talk to you guys about vision, but I'm also just going to give you some tactical tips that really no time wasters of what matters in this business, of what I've been able to maintain and accomplish, and kind of just really tell you a story tonight, a few stories. So raise your hand if you guys, just very interactive for a second. You guys, how many of you have been in the business for a year? Anybody? 2 years, 3 years? Awesome. And how many first year coaches are there? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Cool. It's cool to know who I'm talking to. And then the other thing is, how many of you guys are motivated by income? Oh, yes, my people. Okay, awesome. That's going to be a lot about what I talk about tonight in my story and in my vision, simply because that's what I'm motivated by, and that's how I started my business. So my goal kind of here is the way I describe it is going from massive success to what I would call massive failure, and then figuring out what mattered most and how I could build upon that what mattered most. So massive success would be that I'll be 31 in a couple weeks. So young mama, not really young, I guess anymore, 31, feeling the aches in my knees and elbows and all the everything, but just kidding. Okay, so I started this business though when I was 23. And the opportunity, long story short, I was always passionate about Shaun T, Beachbody DVDs. It was back in the day where you'd buy them off the infomercial. And I would always buy the DVDs. They got me in shape for my wedding. And then I learned about the opportunity to become a coach. There was a very skeptical no, but I always just kept coming back around to the idea of how great it would be to have the opportunity to not only get in shape, but help other people do the same and get paid for it. So that's kind of my story with the business, is that my husband was a pilot in the Navy, and we were traveling a lot, and I had a bachelor's of science in animal nutritional science. Wanted to go to vet school my whole life. And when I had the opportunity to either apply to vet school or travel with my new, at the time, just got married husband, I chose to travel with my husband, experience the world, and, really just have the opportunity to live life with him, because we had done distance for so long up until that point. So, took a bunch of bartending jobs, had a ton of debt, couldn't really get hired anywhere in my field because I didn't do anything extra. I didn't go to get a master's. I couldn't go to grad school. So nobody was really hiring with an undergraduate in animal nutritional science. It was basically nothing. I could do nothing with it. ended up taking an insurance job that basically gave me the opportunity to defer my student loan payments. And it was just enough, like I had just enough money to pay my bills and nothing extra at the end of the month. So when Beachbody fell into my lap, it was very much out of desperation. Desperation, one, because I had gained 30 pounds and I found myself in this very depressive, anxiety ridden state. As a young 23-year-old who was very focused on career and just wanting to do well for my family, I didn't come from a lot. And wanting to break that generational curse of being able to provide, pay off debt, and one day have a future family without that stress. And this current job that I was doing wasn't giving me that opportunity. And I remember sitting in that desk job, that 9 to 5, making those minimum wage, knowing that I'd have my opportunity to get my quarter raise in a couple months. And I was just asking myself, like, is this really my life? Like, is this it? Like, is this what I'm going to do until I retire? And I got curious at that point. What else could I do? I was thinking about ways to go back to bartending, or how could I pick up more night shifts, or maybe get a weekend job. But I realized that wasn't going to be, that wasn't a good family lifestyle. I was at the point now where I'm married. I want to be with my husband. He gets home from work. I want to have the nights and weekends, and the bar life just didn't really allow for that. And like I said, I fell upon Beachbody about that time where I learned about the coaching opportunity. And so I kind of, after I got through the skepticism of it all, I went all in. And when I say I went all in, it was like I jumped in head first. And within 2 months, I quit that job, and my commissions, I was having high enough Success Club numbers that I was actually making enough in commission sales that matched my income, and I was able to leave that job. And this was about the time that it was the time, my first month in the business was when 21 Day Fix came out. So I was like changing my life with Portion Fix. It was like it absolutely transformed my body. And it was just a very easy way for me to help people, is because I actually had found a solution for the first time in my life that got me the results that I was looking for. So it was a very authentic journey, and I worked really, really hard. And like I said, I went all in and did this full time. By the end of my first year, so February 2014, and the end of the year, I fell just like 1 or 2 points short of Premier, not even knowing. I hit 2-star diamond in like 8 months. I went to the very first ever new leader conference, and life was like really starting to fall into place. I was making enough money to where I was starting to pay debts. I activated those student loan payments again. And I remember just feeling, getting a lot of recognition throughout the company. So then I went into my second year, starting January 1st, 2015. And I remember thinking, I'm going to become an elite coach. And I worked and I did everything that I had to do. And then boom, that was the first year I became an elite coach. 2016, I repeated it. 2017, I repeated it. 2018, I repeated it. Every year was continued growth. My revenue was just jumping. And I was one of those success stories. I was one of those coaches that really figured it out. And so 2019 hit though. It was my husband's second deployment. And for whatever happened, I married my high school sweetheart, my best friend in the whole world. And for whatever reason, whatever happened, life hit my marriage in a way that I never expected, never knew, and just never thought that this would be part of my story. Hit my relationship so hard that it was actually just a debilitating depression, that the only thing that I had energy to do was get up and raise my kid. For whatever reason, there's been a lot of adversity in my life, but for whatever reason, this was the one thing that I just couldn't shake. And March 2020, I went through just a really rough time. All of 2019, it was the first year I missed elite, as my first full year as a coach, missing elite. 2020 was that year that was going to be my comeback year. And in that comeback season, COVID hit. In that comeback season, my husband and I couldn't figure it out. In that comeback season, we actually told our families we were going to be getting a divorce. And just like I said, the spiral of that mindset of just everything crushed me, and I couldn't climb my way out. And by the grace of God and sticking it out and so much prayer and a lot of therapy and just whatever you want to call it, I just call it a miracle from God. We ended up finding an amazing mentor, him and I separately, and a few people, mentors along the way. And I can tell you guys today that my marriage now is better than it's ever been. And I've been with my husband now for 15 years. So you go through seasons. And one thing that I'm grateful for is the staying power of the coaching opportunity. When you get yourself to a certain point, the only thing that I could do during basically 18 months of my business was hit Success Club. That was it. I didn't have the energy to recruit. I didn't have the energy to have an awesome social media. I didn't have the energy to keep growing myself. My head was like in the Bible every day, praying for my family, praying for my marriage, praying for just revival, like just trying to figure out how I could keep my family together. Coming from a divorced family, all I ever wanted was for my daughter to be raised in a healthy home. So stepping back now, going from massive success, having all of those Beachbody accolades, to what I call massive failure, which is letting all of those accolades and that momentum that I had built completely slip through my fingers. Like I said, lost elite, income dipped, and to figuring out what mattered. There was a season in that season where I had to, this is our livelihood, has become an incredible business for us. And I had to make that decision of, not a decision, but just kind of like get my priorities in check of what actually mattered. And what actually mattered was that this platform, that this income could still be something that provided for my family, which is why I was here in the first place. I had to keep earning the paycheck and continue to support and provide for my family. And when I thought about what mattered, how could I show up behind the scenes and try to keep my life a secret at the time, because there was so much shame involved in what I was going through. I remembered, here's what I figured out. Number one was authentic relationships. The second thing was elevating myself and my leadership. And the third thing that I figured out that mattered in this business was systems. So hold on a minute, let me think here. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. I had to come to a point, guys, where losing that rank for the very first time was something that it was kind of like an identity thing in itself, where I had to separate what I felt made me worthy to what the actual truth was. And I think for so long, if you get wrapped up in this world of like pushing for all of these things, like I felt like I wasn't worthy if I didn't hit elite, or if I wasn't that elite coach, or if I wasn't the one in the spotlight. And I had to first remind myself that my worth isn't wrapped up in Beachbody or what corporate thinks or how they do their recognition system, but rather that my worth is what I think about myself and how I show up for my family. Coaching has always been my vehicle to live the life that I dreamed of living and to have the things that I dreamed of having and be able to provide for my family, my daughter, and the way that I've done so. So when I talk about, and then I start to think about my journey, whether you're pushing for big goals like rank and income, which I think are incredibly important, everything, every ounce of what I've done in a low season and in a high season has never been driven by anything but my vision. So I wanted to tell you guys a few quick stories. When I started my business back in 2014, I was like, I told you guys, remember, I was like, I was on fire. I just did it. I just showed up. I used my testimony and I went for it. But I can honestly tell you, looking back and reflecting on that, if that was my true driving factor, I am not sure that I would still be here today. Because I don't think the momentum of how you feel physically or how you look or how you feel, how you feel and look physically is enough to carry you through the things that we go through as entrepreneurs in our Beachbody businesses. I had to connect myself to a vision. Not only in that beginning was I fired up because I was helping people, but what helped me show up every day was I was clearly attached to a vision. And at the beginning of the call, you said, your vision changes and it evolves over time. And in year one, as a brand new coach, that vision for me was very much about, I signed up in February. February is a team cup month. I was put on a team cup team. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I didn't want to let these people down. I'm a team player. I played basketball. Like, I'm here to win. What do we got to do? In my very first month, they're like, help 5 people. You got to hit Success Club 10. I'm like, all right, I'm on it. Here I go. Don't know what I'm doing, but just somebody guide me and I won't let you down. And when I hit Success Club in my first month, I remember my coach told me, she's like, if you do this for 11 more months, you'll become a Success Club All-Star. And if you become a Success Club All-Star, then you'll get to earn a free vacation and you'll get to bring somebody with you. And I was like, seriously? Like, you can earn a free vacation? And you guys got to remember, I'm 23. I have no money. I'm over $70,000 in debt. I come from a single mom who literally worked 2 jobs just to get by. And the very first thing I thought of was, oh my God, like, I'm going to take my mom on this vacation. Like, I'm taking my mom. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, so what do I have to do? Help at least 3 people a month? I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm just worried about February. Let's get to February. March hit. You guys know that new coach success. Like, you come in, you're on fire, the momentum hits. March hit, did it again. April hit, did it again. May hit. Things are starting to die down a little bit. Now strategy comes into your business, and I still am thinking about my mom. I'm like, I just got to get to February. I just got to get to 12 months in Success Club. I can do this. And while I was seeing success in the business, I was driven by that thing. I had sticky notes all over my computer in my bathroom. I'm taking my mom on my vacation. That first week of coaching, when I was in that team cup group and I hit Success Club in that first week, and I called my mom and I said, hey, mom, guess what? And she's like, what? I was like, I just learned that I can earn a free vacation. And guess what? I'm going to take you. So get ready. Next spring, we're going on a vacation. And she's like, okay, honey, like, whatever you say, we'll go on a vacation. It was my mom's dream. She was like 52 at the time, and it was her dream. I knew her whole life to always swim with dolphins, and she never got the opportunity to. And I'll never forget when I qualified and I got that call or that email that I qualified for that Cancun trip. I'm gonna get emotional. Cancun trip in 2014, I qualified and used my Beachbody income. Guys, I'm 23 years old. It's like 23-year-olds don't get these opportunities to like pay for their parents to do these awesome things. And I surprised her on that trip with fulfilling her childhood dream of swimming with dolphins. And not only did she get the vacation, but she got to fulfill that dream. Vision. There would have been no income growth. There would have been no show up every day, get creative with your content on days that are tired, on days that are hard. It was actually that first year I was sitting in a bar on New Year's Eve at 11:50 when I enrolled my final challenge pack to the Lock-In Success Club for December. There's no way I would have ever done that if I didn't have that vision intact for picturing myself. I don't know what vision exercises you guys do, but like, I could feel the wind. I could feel the sunshine. I could picture my mom and I bonding. We had never had an opportunity to take a vacation like that. I could see her smile and even tears when she got to pet and get in the water with a dolphin for the first time. Like, that was that moment. Second year. Remember how I told you I started this journey and I went into that second year. I just missed Premiere. I didn't even know Premiere was a thing. So I was like, well, heck with Premiere. I'm just going elite. Went from 0 to 100 and locked in elite. I wish I could tell you it's because I'm just awesome and I locked in elite and I just am a great recruiter and I have so many contacts and I know all these people, but it's not. It's a decision because it's a work ethic. It's a work ethic because you're attached to a vision. The vision that second year, taking my mom on that trip and actually achieving that goal, you guys, gave me so much confidence in myself. Not only was I completing workout programs, not only was I getting results, not only was I finally doing things that I said I was going to do and showing up for myself and achieving things that I wanted to achieve, but now I was starting to dream bigger. And that's what happens throughout this business is as you progress and as you keep keeping those promises to yourself and just showing up, you are going to gain the confidence to dream bigger. That second year, I was like wiping my student loan debt. I'm done with it. Like, I'm just going to bust it out. I'm supposed to be paying the stuff till I'm like 35. I'm 23, almost 24 then. I was like, I'm just doing it. And it's not because I made a ton of money. It's because I made a decision to live in a way that allowed us to pay off the the last $50,000 in 2016 to be completely credit card and student loan debt free. Not to mention we hit elite. The benchmarks of Beachbody, they were a byproduct of my vision. It was a byproduct of me being so connected to the goal that I did whatever I needed to do to elevate, to maximize on the compensation plan, to elevate myself in a way to get to the goal. The next goal after that was I had a baby in my belly. And I had never, I mean, I'm telling you, the stuff that I grew up in, the homes that I grew up in, the motels that I grew up in, you guys, like it wasn't what I wanted for my kid. So for us in that third year to completely buy a home, pay for all of the furniture and everything in it in cash, be able to go and pick out my daughter's nursery, it was all, and pay for it in cash, was all part of the vision. Things that I wrote down, that I put on sticky notes, that I never forgot on days when it got hard. When everybody continued to tell me no, when I couldn't figure out how to grow my social media, when I couldn't figure out how to get to that next level, when diamond coaches and above were quitting on my team, I stayed the course. So then you kind of get to a place like 6 figures is a good salary, you know, like it does well, it pays well, it does well for our family. And my daughter's born, and I had an awesome team at that point. I could step away from team calls for a few months and figure out how to be a mom. And it was almost like, well, what's next? And if you lose the vision in the business, I don't care how good you are at it, you lose the drive to show up every day. And I lost the vision in the business. And I stopped rank advancing. My income stopped growing. And here I was living what I said at the time was this life that I dreamed of, which was having the opportunity to be home with my daughter, which it was. But my business halted. I still was able to hit elite. I hit the minimum requirements to hit elite, but I was not continuing to elevate myself. So the minute adversity hits in my life, when something goes wrong in my marriage, my husband's away on his second deployment, I'm a single mom again, all of the stresses of everything going on, what's going to hold me up now? I don't know where you guys are at in your lives. I don't know where you guys are at in your finances. I don't know where you're at in your goals. But I will say this, and I know you've heard it 1,000 times, but this opportunity is a freaking gift. And I don't care if it's you right now, you want to set the goal to pay for your groceries, or you want to set the goal to build your dream home. But whatever it is, you have to set that vision, because somewhere along the way, something is going to happen. And this is going to be the first thing that you put on the back burner if you don't have yourself attached to that vision. It was just recently, within like the last 6 months, you know, my daughter's 4.5 now. And for the last like 6 months, you know, I've been working, we all need a mentor. I got myself a mentor for business, and just really kind of redesigning myself and reprioritizing and what matters to me. What matters to me in my business, what does success look like to me, what do I want to achieve this year? And I'm setting these goals and these priorities. And last week my daughter started soccer, 4.5, and was out on that soccer field. And in that moment, I remember just like feeling I'm on that soccer field. It's like the first sunny day we've had here in Maryland. And I'm just like, this is it. Like this is that next vision board. Like this is what I'm here for. And all I could picture was like more kids, more sports. I'm a soccer mom. Hopefully my husband was a wrestler. I'm going to be like a wrestler mom and we have more kids. Like just put all the stickers all over my car. I'm not going to get a minivan. If you have a minivan, you're so cool, but I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to be that mom. Like my nights and weekends are going to be dedicated to my children. Like I'm going to be with them. And then the emotion came because I was thinking about, if I never took this opportunity, I'd probably still be doing bar shifts to pay off all of the money that we owed. And, vision, 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 vision. How could I work harder now to continue living the life that we're living and we're creating for our family and for our children? And you start to develop and you start to think about, and you fulfill, or you fill yourself up with gratitude for what you have here. Guys, there's so much more that I want to achieve that I haven't even feel like I've touched the surface. And I feel like that I have an opportunity here, not only to do that for my family, but I get to lead myself in a way that inspires others to lead themselves to do and live their dreams for their families and their lives. So when I think about the things that matter most, there's a lot of stuff out there, guys, that we could be doing that we get distracted by. Or there's a lot of things out there, well, I'm not good at this, or I'm not good at that, or I feel like, I'm not perfect at this, or, I suck at reels, or whatever it may be. Here's what matters. Like I said on that list, what matters is, where's my list? What matters is the getting started right coaching process. What matters is connecting coaches to a vision. What matters is reminding them what they're working for. And what matters is a resource that I'm going to show you. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, a time blocking calendar. Because how many of you are moms here? How many of you have jobs also? Like full-time jobs outside of Beachbody? Exactly. Like so many of us work. How many of you struggle with feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you don't know like how you're going to reach your goals? Like, oh my God, I just don't have enough time. Well, if somebody had what I had on my plate, like I get it. But my solution is that I don't need to be a top recruiter. I don't need to hit Success Club 500. I don't need to have 50 coaches on my team every single month. I don't need to compete with all the craziness that's going on in Beachbody. I need to have quality over quantity. And I need to have authentic connections. I need to have a system in place, and I need to help my people get attached to a vision. Because if I can help my people get attached to a vision, there is nothing stopping a freaking mom from hitting her goals and being there for her kids and doing all of the things that she wants to do and achieve for her family and her life. That is my secret sauce, is that I connect with my people. I'm authentic. I'm honest. I ask for permission to push them in areas that they want to be pushed. And I hold them accountable to their goals. Not because I have this all like, what's the word, that I have like this motive that I just want them to be successful so I can rank advance. Like, no, I genuinely want them to reach their goals. And the only way that I can get them to reach their goals is if I get them to attach to their vision. I've tried diamond pushes. I've tried push pots. I've tried swag and recognition gifts. I've tried shouting them out on the team pages. Nothing works more than finding a coach that is self-motivated. And sometimes that's not made. We have to help people hang on to the vision before they ultimately hang on to it themselves and believe in it themselves. We have to help people believe that they are capable of achieving the things that they tell you that they want to achieve. So there's a few things that I can share with you guys. And let me just say this. One thing that I tell all of my coaches, and I even have to remind myself, overwhelm isn't not knowing what to do. It's just not knowing the next thing to do. It's never not knowing what to do. It's just not knowing the next thing to do. And a lot of times what happens with ourselves is we don't know that next thing to do. So a lot of times we sit back and we do nothing. And then we become overwhelmed, and then we don't have time for this. And then, we use valid excuses like, well, I'm a mom or I have another job, when in reality, it's just we're not being efficient enough with our time. I have to be very efficient with my time if I want to have a business, grow my business, and be successful at my business. So it's my job and my responsibility to figure out what that looks like so I can make that a duplicatable process for the women on my team. Guys, money in this business, income in this business is created from being a good leader. And in order to be a good leader, you have to first learn how to lead yourself well. You have to do the program. You have to stick to the meal plan. Prove to yourself that you can do it so that you can guide somebody else to do the same thing. You have to do the business activity tracker or whatever systems that you have in place for yourself to show up every day and that you're telling your teammates to do. If we can't lead ourselves, we cannot expect to lead others well. Become literally the best coach on your team. and become so attached to a vision that your team can't help but be inspired by what you want to do with your life. That's one thing that I can commend my coach on so well, is that not only did she encourage me to dream, but she constantly shared her vision with me. And just I was so inspired by the things she was even thinking about, because those were things that I never even thought about, like the things that she wanted to do with her life. And because she was brave enough to share that vision and be willing to fail forward every single day until she achieved it years later, it gave me the belief and the dream that I could have a big vision and I could dream and I could utilize this opportunity for what it really was and go after it and get it too. So two things I can share. Like I said, I can go over with you guys if it would help you. I don't know if you guys have a system of my getting started right process. And then second thing I can do, if you want, up to you. I don't know what you guys want to hear, is I could show you the time blocking calendar and how I use that and how I show my team how to use that. And then the last thing that I have just to close is just a couple tips to leave you guys with, kind of like just things to remember.
Well, I think you're freaking awesome, and I love your
Okay.
authenticity and just your realness because
Thanks.
it happens, right? And I just love how you were just so open and real. And I think that's what we all, because we all see those beach body coaches that they're on the highlights and
Always.
this and that. And yeah, like rank can drive you for only so long
Yeah,
because you're gonna reach it. You know what I mean? Like if you do the work, you're gonna reach it.
exactly.
But I love everything that you said. Um, and that you gave us so much already. I don't want you to I mean, of course, and we dig more. But why don't you just like go over like your last tips and then we
Okay,
can just
cool.
go through questions. But I would if you could just maybe even send that time blocking
Yeah,
thing
I'd be happy to.
throw in the team page. I think that would
Cool.
be
Yeah,
awesome.
you got it. So for just 5 tips real quick. Number 1, be expectant. Keith Callahan always said this to me. He's like, "It's not a matter of when you do well, or not a matter of if you do well in the business, it's a matter of when." So live below your means, get out of debt, and do good work. That just always stuck with me. It was like, be expectant. It's like, believe in yourself, know that it's going to happen. I'm going to put in the work and it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when that comes, still be developed enough as a human that you do good things with the income that this business can provide for you. Second thing is servant heart always. You guys know this. At the end of your life, nobody's going to remember what you had in your bank account, but everyone's going to remember how you made them feel. So every single time that you have a new challenger, a new coach, whatever it may be, just really, really, really put a lot of emphasis in that customer service and what you can provide people, how you can support them, how you can encourage them. And that doesn't always mean be a cheerleader, guys. Sometimes that means like really asking people if you can hold them accountable and ask, finding ways to help people actually reach their goals. And that, like I said, that's not always a hoorah. That's sometimes a little bit of a tough love. But you're here to help people. So make sure that you're clear in your words and that you can utilize, again, resources, systems you have in place to actually help people succeed. Being in customer service, that's literally everything. And if anything, it's going to give you guys way more referrals in the future. Lead from the front. Number 3, lead from the front always. I want to have a really big business, and we can't have a really big business if we're sitting at the end of it. We have to lead from the front, be the ones, constantly implementing and growing and teaching and learning and doing all those things. Number 4 is create boundaries, because I think that's really important too. If you respect yourself and your time enough, others will come to do the same. I don't know about you or where you guys are in the business, but I've been in so many seasons of this business where I've pulled so many coaches along and I've just tried so hard. I've talked to coaches every month who weren't working, but I'd give my one-on-one time. And um, you've just got to have a boundary. If you respect your time, people are going to work hard to get your time. So just remember that. And then the last one is stay teachable, never stop learning. Tony Robbins said this in one of his conferences a few years ago, is like, don't become irrelevant, which was my biggest mistake, because I started for a while to use that excuse that, I'm tech challenged, or I can't figure this stuff out, or I don't know what's going on. And here I was like missing opportunities to grow my business and elevate myself and train my team, because I wasn't willing to get uncomfortable and go with the trends. AKA, if you guys aren't doing reels yet, get on it, figure it out. Like, you can really find a way to niche yourself with that and do really big things. So I'm just getting involved because I feel like I'm one of those people that tries to learn so much and be a perfectionist before I do it, but that doesn't even matter. Just go out, get a training, look on YouTube, just figure it out, make one, challenge your team or teach your team to do the same, and just find ways to create engagement, grow your social media, and be authentic in your message. And then that becomes a very duplicatable thing for your team. So those are my 5 tips. I'd
Love
be
it.
happy
So
to eat
great.
it.
Does anybody have any questions for Natalie?
I do. I was wondering if you could touch on the like the onboarding system of new coaches, because I feel like that's kind of, you talked about like the next step and being so overwhelmed by like what to do once I get coaches that want to coach. So I would love to hear a little bit of that if you don't
Cool.
mind.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. How much time do you guys have? I didn't know how much was allotted to this call.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay. Okay. So let me just pull this up real quick. So the first thing I do is, when the coach signs up, I send an email, and that email is kind of like, I title it like what's next. And the what's next is, it's just kind of like the housekeeping. And basically what it says is, I give them like a few tips to like just get out there right away and make it their first social media post or whatever it may be. And the second thing that I say is schedule a call with me in the next 48 hours so we can have our getting started right call. And then I always say in the first 48 hours, because guys, if you drag this out, take it from me, somebody that has failed massively at this, if you wait, you lose them. Like, people are so scared but so excited at the same time when they start, that you immediately need to get them on the phone, and you need to be that confident coach that just gives them the material. Don't worry about overwhelming them. They're here. They want to know what it takes to be successful. They don't want to fail. So if you come prepared, then they're going to implement it or they're going to run. And it doesn't matter what they do. Like, don't be the person that tries to like ease them into coaching because you don't want them to run. That has helped me fail massively in this business. Be clear. This takes work. Be confident when you're speaking to them on this getting started right call. Have a system in place. I say on that email, schedule this call. They respond back. We schedule the call within the next 48 hours. And then I get on that GSR call. In that GSR call, I'm talking about setting realistic expectations. And then I just have a list of 1 through 5. People are going to tell you no. Most of the time it means not right now. You're not, your worth isn't wrapped up in a no. Like, this is a roller coaster. Hang on, enjoy the ride. This is not get rich quick. Like, stay committed to your long-term goals. Your success or failure is up to you. And then no one's journey is the same. Embrace yours and keep your eyes in your own lane. Like, those are my set realistic expectations. The next part, we talk about why. I immediately want them to think about vision. I immediately want them to think about, why they said yes. I want them to think about, what did I write here? How much do you need to make per month to get excited about your Beachbody income or your Beachbody business? I want to know what their expectation is for that first month. And then I ask them a really important question. I say, what would you do with that money? What if you made $300 like you want to say? What would you do with it? And then they tell me, well, I'd, pay for my daughter's ballet lessons, or I'd pay for my groceries, or I'd pay off my car. And I'm like, wouldn't that be freaking awesome? And we start to dream on day one. So then next thing is I say, strive for these rewards. I talk about Success Club. I talk about being an emerald. And I even share with them how they can earn that fast start $100 bonus. Cause that was huge for me when I was a new coach. It's like, oh, I can sign up 5 coaches and earn an extra $500 or extra $100 bonus. Like, holy cow. So that was that. I don't speak of it in any way. Like, that's the thing too, is I think that has helped me immensely is I just don't have this fear around it. Like, this is what it takes, hit Success Club, become an emerald. And if I just talk to them like they're capable of doing it, and I don't sugarcoat it or try to make it seem like something that it's not, they don't know any different. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just let me put my first post out there. Let me go help two people. I'm really scared. They'll tell you and they'll talk about that emotion with you. And you're just like, girl, you got this. Like, rip the band-aid off. Let's go. Like, you can do this. You were made for this. You're here. You want to do it. Let's go. The next part of the game plan, meaning we just right there on the call, we do a contact list. So I just do 10 and 10 people that they, if you could think about anybody, like best friends, like who do you want to link arms with you as a coach on your team, and who do you think would do really well in a challenge group? Just want them to write the names down. I want to get them used to not attaching their opinion with what somebody else's answer might be, like, oh, I'm not going to invite her. She'd never say no. Like, put her on the damn list. You never know what they're going to say. And then I have I can send you guys this if you want it. I have two little check marked sections of this GSR. It's 3 pages, by the way. So it's very simple. This says set your goals. So they print this off so they can just check it, because I'm a checklist person. So I'm saying, here's what you do in your next 7 days. Complete all the items on the new coach checklist, which I have a new coach checklist right here. And that's the housekeeping stuff, like watch the video from corporate, join, here's a link for our team page, here's a link for our Zoom chats, here's how to sign somebody up, watch the share cart video. So that's part of their do this in the next 7 days. The next part of their do this in the next 7 days is reach out to that contact list that we just made. Take your before pictures and start your journey. And then I just challenge them right off the bat to get on their stories and do like a live unboxing, or, talk like this about what they're starting and why. Cause I just want them to rip the band-aid off. This is what we do. We have to be influencers on social media and talk to people and get used to doing things that make us uncomfortable. So I encourage that in the first 7 days. Then the next 4 little boxes saying, okay, that's the first 7 days, but here's the first 30 days. Achieve Success Club, achieve Emerald, achieve the Fast Start bonus if you're motivated by that, and get results with your program. Never forgetting that their journey matters most. And if they're not getting results and seeing success and filling their cup, they're not going to be inspired to help somebody else do the same. So was there something specific with that, or were you just kind of wondering a flow of how that goes?
No, that was awesome. I was wondering
Okay.
what I like you said the most, because we hear all the same things, getting started right call and all things just do. But I think my struggle is what you hit on, is just like to be confident with it and not have fear around it, or like, oh God, they're going to be so overwhelmed, or thinking so much of how it comes across instead of just being a matter of fact.
Totally. And that was like literally my thing. And I was always trying to like downplay, but then they weren't hitting their goals, and then they were getting defeated, and then they were quitting because they weren't seeing success and they didn't have time for this. So I'm like, just take action. Like, just do this, and you got this, and I believe in you, and you're going to rock it. Let's go. So I can send that to you.
And do you think that weeded out the people that wouldn't have really succeeded in this anyways?
Yeah, but I also think too is that I have less people scared by that getting started right process, because I'm more upfront in the direct conversation. I don't sit here and sugarcoat like how fun coaching is. I'm like, this is a job, dude. Like, but I would not change this for a thing, because of what the time freedom and the opportunity it's given me for my family. And I speak so much about like, I've always been a hard worker. Like, this is what I talk about these in my coach up calls. If you guys aren't doing coach up calls, you should be doing coach up calls. You can tell your story all the time and just constantly have something to invite to. I'm always telling this story of like, we get one life, and, as much, and there's so many people, I have so many coaches on my team that are in amazing careers, and they love their careers, and they have no like plan to leave it. But they also really appreciate the community. They also really appreciate the way that they can earn extra income to pay off the debts that this full-time job would never allow them to do. It gives them vacation money for family or things like that. But I'm just very upfront about like, don't be scared of hard work. Everything in life is hard work. But the payoff of this hard work is potentially like a debt-free or time freedom, or having more time to spend with your kids, or the growth. I talk about like the growth as a person because of how we're challenged to just not only grow physically and mentally, but personally, and how we develop that way as well with personal development. And I do tell people, I'm like, if you could achieve anything with this business, what, without any fears attached, what would it be? And they'll list off a few things. And I'm like, well, what are you willing to sacrifice short term, to be able to achieve that goal? Would waking up for the next 2 years, an hour before you would normally wake up so you could work your business or get your workout in, would that be worth it if 2 years from now you could achieve XYZ? And I'm just very realistic, and people get to make that choice for themselves, you know? Um, so yeah.
Sweet. Anybody else have one last question?
I wanted to ask, you had mentioned there were like 3 things about authentic relationships. Then there was like a second thing that I missed, and then systems.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see if you could go into that a little bit more.
Yeah, so that was so I talked about like massive success, which was like hitting recognition, praise, being in the spotlight, to what I felt like was massive failure, which was losing elite, like my income dipped because I was still trying to work in a way that created the recognition from the company, to actually figuring out, no, what actually matters here? Like what matters is I'm supporting my family. So what actually is income producing? And what's income producing is authentic relationships, like having real authentic relationships with my coaches and being able to help them and elevating myself and my leadership so I could continue to guide the people right into success. And then systems. If we don't have systems, like this getting started right system has been the most duplicatable thing that I have on my team, just because it makes even a brand new coach not scared to invite to a coaching opportunity, and then for that coach to say yes, because all they do is they send them that document, this getting started right process. And if it's a brand new coach, I'll jump on and do the GSR with them. Like I'm willing to sacrifice that to help my new leaders gain the confidence of the first couple times, and then they'll start doing their own GSRs, getting started right. And that was taught to me by Keith as well. And I didn't implement it for a long time. I'm like, no, I need these people to step out and lead themselves. And Keith's like, no, you talk to every single coach in your downline and you show them how to be a leader, and then they'll follow you. And I was like, okay, Keith, sure. Okay. And it works. It does. It just takes the pressure off the coach to have to know it all and do it all right there in the beginning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for ripping off the Band-Aid with us and getting back on the team calls.
Yeah, sure.
Your time.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. So nice to meet you all.
You too. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.